let's take Axel out. You know, I didn't want that bullet head, that thing. And so I was thankful that that didn't occur. I also like to feel like Axel was a little serviceable in the mayhem, in the melee.
For Carol.
Massacre.
For Carol.
Not only took a bullet in the head, hit Carol, but he was kind of a human shield.
Yeah.
You know, one of the funny things, there's nothing funny about it, but it's hilarious, is that with all the shooting going on and all the missing going on, it seemed like every time they shot towards Axel, it hit him. I mean, they shot at Rick 100 times and didn't even get close.
And he barely had any.
It was in Axel's radar. Bang! It hit him. He was serviceable. He maybe saved Carol. There was another thing on the day that I wanted, or I wasn't sure. You never know going into it, how death scenes are very difficult because none of us have any experience at that, really. So I knew that I didn't want to play the end of the scene on the front of the scene and everything leading up to it because there was a job to do. A big part of the job was to get the continued engagement of the audience to Axel and to connect with him and find some heart or some doubt. Yeah. And so I wanted to show up to set happy, a little lift in my step as opposed to morose, despondent, and depressed. And I'm sure you've heard this, but a lot of us on set have music that we find our place in. Hold on one second. I will. This is my pimp for the day, but these are earbuds, and these are Dr. Dre beats.
Oh, there you go.
And so these Norman and Andrew use these, and so I'm like, well, if they use them, they're on the show for 2 years. If I use them, I got a chance. Plus, I want to be one of the cool kids, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I used to use just to get the ones that you got with your iPhone through Apple, but then these, plus they're colorful and they're flat, so they don't tie up as much. Anyway, we often will be on set with our music tied into our phone or our iPod, and there will be a particular soundtrack. And mine for the day was a band that you may or may not know is actually a singer-songwriter named Citizen Cope. And this guy is out of the East Coast, and he has a song called Bullet and a Target. It's really cool. Really an upbeat, peppy, happy kind of sad song with some heavy lyrics, and it was absolutely perfect. It got me in the right place that I could come to Carol, play the little touch on the shoulder. Hey, did I fool you? Be kind. It was important because so much of the episode on the page, you know what's going on with other people's work just by having the script. You've got Andrea and the governor. Hey, you want to be the boss? Because I don't think I can do it anymore. You seem pretty good. Here are my pants. You've got Daryl and Merle out in the woods. Wow, I know we're brothers, but you're a real asshole. I don't really think... Wow, where'd you get all those scars on your back? Well, that was from Carol in the guard tower. No, that's what I thought. I was like, wow, Daryl's already been there. You've got Rick going bat nuts. I mean, he's out there chasing the specter of his wife. You've got Glenn going yippee-ki-yay, cowboy, and Herschel just trying to stand up, keep balance, right? So there seemed all this conflict, right, and all this friction and disconnect and dysfunction. And what I wanted for Axel was to have a real peace. I wanted those scenes to be able for us to breathe, kind of take a moment to enjoy instead of being on the edge of our seat, kind of going, oh, that was nice, that was cool. I can actually enjoy this beverage that I'm having. Cool, great, yeah, let me get one of those brownies. I just wanted that vibe to be real easy. So then when all hell breaks loose. It is a gut punch, and it comes out of nowhere. And I think I've heard where a lot of people were like, "No, oh,
yeah,
right."
That's exactly what happened. We all three were watching the episode together, and it was kind of a casual episode and very normal. And then you're standing there talking to Carol, and boom! I think I screamed, and my jaw was on the floor for the rest of the episode. And I was thinking, man, he was. Don't take this the wrong way, but he was kind of creepy the first few episodes, and now he's getting all sweet and nice. I don't want you to go. So
that was the whole intent as well. One of the things that we have been trying to do is keep in reserve for Axel the kind of layers and colors that are a mystery. So we don't know. And I wanted to always have some fangs available in reserve to be able to pull out should production want to go that way, in the form of we kept well buttoned. The plan was that we did see the one tattoo, but the plan was when we undid, we were going to see Henry Rollins. We were going to see a lot of tattoos, maybe a little white supremacy, and maybe to support the idea this guy might really be a serial killer, rapist, pedophile, something really ugly. He might really be a danger. The idea that he had offered that he was a pharmaceutical interest, extracurricular activist, if that's a word, I like it, that he was doing crystal meth, Oxycontin, and he's in jail, and then come to find out, I really got busted for armed robbery with a water pistol. Maybe he's a pathological liar. Maybe that's not true either. All these things that, hey, I'm just a guy that's, had to go with any port in a storm in prison for quite a while. And I'm just talking to a female type. And, I didn't figure we were on the same team, but now I'm kind of, maybe that's very genuine. Or maybe there is. So I just like the big maybe factor, and I love that people anyone that carries some doubt has reason to, and anyone that connects and makes their stand has reason to. And so I really appreciate that. And these are the kind of things that I say Axel left too soon. Because at some point we were going to be able to figure that out, and production was going to have to make those decisions. But from my personal point of view, I find that Axel was fairly genuine. That he was a colloquial country boy, redneck, that had some sort of wry Southern colloquial humor to him. I feel like one of the things he did was he brought some levity and some laughs to the show, particularly at points when it was needed. He might state the obvious. Sometimes we need that. And I feel like he was fairly genuine, and that he would have had relationships in the right way with everybody. Obviously, starting with Carol, heading probably to Daryl. Maybe he was going to have to, connect. But I think Daryl, he would connect. I think there was a brother combination with Axel and Daryl, and so they could connect at least on motorcycles. At some point, I think he was going to have to reconcile some things with Rick, and then I feel like he'd find bonds with Herschel, just being on a couple of just on facial hair alone. So these were all things that I would rather have had the opportunity to play through than what we did get to play through. But I'm very proud with what we did with Axel, and I'm very excited to have been part of the show in all manners that I was. There were things that we did do that didn't show up. One of the things I've been talking about is I got back to Rick, and I think Rick's such an interesting character, and Andrew Lincoln is such an interesting actor and hardworking. My gosh. In episode 309, when he comes out just before going in to deal with Tyrese, towards the end of the episode, where Axel is in regret over Oscar's death, at some point I felt very aggressive towards Rick. And so I sort of attacked him and got up in his grill about, you let Oscar die. You took him out there to get killed. I'm blaming you. You were held responsible. And he had to sort of fend me off, and so did the others. And it was really great, but it got to be too much from there, then to go in and meet Tyrese, and then to see, Lori up above.
Yeah, right.
And though it was really cool, it didn't necessarily serve the flow of the story. And I really appreciate that production allows you to suss those things out and then makes always the best decision. And it's a little bit like survival. You have to make the best decision for the common good. Not just the good for the actors or the good for an actor or but the good for the audience and the good for the show. And so these are all things that are first and foremost, and I think that's a big part of the show's success.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you think that scene may pop up on behind the scenes for the Blu-ray or DVD?
I don't know that it's that interesting, because there's a lot of other things that have been shot that are probably better. There's some things like, oh my God, are we going to actually show that? There's some things that I don't think they can show on TV. I don't care where their rating is. Greg Nicotero, he can go off on some really wild stuff. He's a delight. He's so passionate about this show, and he's so passionate about his work. And now he's directing a lot of our episodes as well as being the executive producer and heading up all the special effects. An interesting story, for instance, is how nice production was to me. When I say production, I'm really speaking of the producers, Glenn Mazzara, Gail Ann Hurd, Greg Nicotero, David Alpert, AMC. But one of the things was that we being them, the production, starting with an appeal from our cast through Andrew Lincoln, we don't really want Axel to go. We like Lew. He's bringing something to the world.